Welcome to the Digging Deep ATVMX Podcast with your host, hailing from Kokona, Wisconsin, riding a CST Tires SSI decals traveling back Yamaha YFC 450R, four-time ATV Motocross National Champion, number 25, Cody Jensen.
What's up, everybody?
We're back.
Welcome to the latest edition of the Digging Deep ATVMX Podcast, episode 173 of the Digging Deep ATVMX Podcast, presented by our title sponsor, CST Tires, in stock and available for purchase today at shop.csttires.com. I'm your host, Cody Jansen, saying hello to our more than 297,000 monthly Digging Deep listeners in all 141 countries in which you are listening, and this is our 2026 season opening Digging Deep Decker Training Facility Triple Crown review show. The boys are back. Billy Cottage and Brian Jenkins are here to help break down all the action. History was made as Joel Hetrick adds to his incredible totals. Zack Decker earns his first career podium, and Max Lindquist kicks off the season in style. But that's just the tip of the iceberg, so let's dive right in. First, let's quickly shout out all of our incredible partners. CST Tires, go to shop.csttires.com today. Yamaha, thanks to Blue Crew. Thanks to SSI Decals, Valvoline, DID Racing Chain, Launderville Steel Enterprises and Concrete Supply, DP Brakes, and Ultimate Poly Products. UPP Racing, our choice when it comes to case savers, chain sliders, intake manifolds, and more. Use discount code DIGGINGDEEP15 at uppracing.com. Support all the great companies that support us, and for any products that fall through the cracks, click that Rocky Mountain ATVMC banner on our website. Crazily, the off season is behind us, the season is here, and no matter what off-road gear parts you need, Rocky Mountain ATVMC has you covered. But before you buy, simply click that Rocky Mountain ATVMC banner on our website. By using our specific link, we get a percentage of what you buy on the back end, enabling you to help us out while purchasing the parts you need anyway. And did you know you could buy OEM parts from Rocky Mountain ATVMC as well? Yep, shipped conveniently right to your door. So click that Rocky Mountain ATVMC banner at diggingdeepatvmx.com to help us out while satisfying all your gear and parts needs. Shout out to all of our donors, and if you are interested in donating and hearing your name on the show, you can find the Patreon or Buy Me a Coffee donation links on our website. Major thanks to all who have donated, of course. Now, if you can't donate, but you still want to help us out, you can leave us a rating or a review on iTunes and Spotify because that helps us out a bunch too. Now, it's showtime. The 30-second board is up, it's sideways, and the gate is down. Time to dig deep.
Let's go!
All right, guys, just like that, the 2026 season opener is in the rear view, and as promised, the boys are back to help break down all the action from the Triple Crown at Deckers. Joining us courtesy of DID Racing Chain and their 520 ATV2 X-Ring chain, it's legend, Mr. Billy Cottage. Welcome back to the show, Billy.
Hey, man. How's it going?
Good to have you back, pal. Excited to talk some racing here again tonight. Feels like we were just talking about the season preview. Feel like we were. It was a week ago. So excited to get this rolling right away as the racing is fresh on our minds. And brought to you by Launderville Steel Enterprises and Concrete Supply. It's first timer in regards to ATV fantasy. Mr. Wheels Up, Brian Jenkins. Welcome back to the show, pal.
Thank you so much. Glad to be here.
Hey, how did fantasy go?
You know what? It went pretty good. Like, I was super excited. The biggest problem I had was, I'm used to like the Rocky Mountain ATV, their fantasy. So when I went through and I was clicking everything and the buttons turned red, I was like, ooh, did I do something wrong? Like, is that what it's supposed to do? Like, what am I doing here? Hopefully this submits. So I went through and I did everything and put it in, and it went great. I was excited about it. I had one hiccup.
You had Brandon, I'm sure. Yep.
Yeah.
Like so many of us. Yep.
Yeah. So that one got me, but I feel like everybody's tied at like the same point level because I think they went off of what we all posted because there's way too many people that have the same totals to not be.
Yep. And that's why we do it the way that we do with the tiers or whatever, is because I want everybody in the game to be a viable option. That's why at the very beginning, I'm like trying to figure out how you do fantasy. And I'm like, well, if we break it down in groups, then everybody should be fair game in the whole game. And I've said this before on previous shows, but the thought of being like when I was a pro and thinking, like I would be on somebody's fantasy team and potentially, I'd want to beat the other guys in my tier. And I don't know that anybody thinks about it that way, but I have heard many stories of guys saying to the riders like, "Hey, I got you on my team today, go get them." And I love that concept. So that's a cool thing.
I have one suggestion though that I seen on the other one that I played with, that I thought maybe you could maybe throw in there as a curve, especially right now, because we on a previous episode we talked about that wide open real estate and where the battles were going to be. Yeah, that wild card that you pick a number from, like, I don't know, even 4 through 8 to say, okay, who's going to finish in this position besides your picks?
Like Rocky Mountain.
What person is going to finish here as an extra bonus? That would be pretty cool, because that might be something to separate.
I like that.
I've thought a lot over the past couple years, and last year was really good. There was tons of variance. There was a lot of guys. It was hard to predict, but there's been times, like even previous season, we brought in Pro Sport at one time and had Pro Sport as their own tier. And we did some things to add some more competition if it got a little too predictable. So I've thought about that, like how we could do that and maybe keep it inside the pro class. I've been on a quest to find ways to make it a little more challenging. Billy and I were texting the last couple of days, and he texted me about his fantasy team. And this is so funny because this is always how I think about these things as I'm watching the races play out. He's like, "Man, I feel bad for Brandon." And I'm like, "Yeah, I feel bad for Brandon." But Max winning that tier made it from like, I would have had, 30 winners or whatever the number would have been to having 2 with Max. So that worked out in my favor as far as giving a million prizes away. Cause I've had that at a few rounds over the years where we've had like 25 winners, and that's a lot of stuff to ship out. But yeah, it was fun. It was fun. The way that everything played out. I'm really proud of the fantasy game, obviously. And, I'm really proud of all the stuff that we do here. And right off the rip, I want to thank you guys again for being here tonight. Thank you for doing the preview show with me. I was listening to that preview show, and you guys kind of talked about, I think we kind of wrapped it up this way, that we came into the conversation maybe in the dark, not a ton of things being outlined and talked about. And by the end, it was like, I felt like there was nothing left to talk about. And I'm just so proud of that content. I'm really, really proud of all the things we do at Digging Deep. We give away the Dane Molander Rising Star Award in his honor and to riders that really deserve recognition. And we give away the Digging Deep Most Improved Pro Award, which kind of fills a void and gives some deserving riders something that isn't being recognized anywhere else. And I'm really proud of that. I'm proud of the hundreds of awards we give away or prizes we give away every year. And I'm really proud of the content. I just was listening to that episode, thinking about how cool it was that we have content like this for ATV racing. So long story short, I'm proud of what we do. And I want to thank you guys for being a part of it. It's been a really fun ride the last year plus. And I'm glad that we can do this again here tonight.
Appreciate that. It helps fill a void that's there. There's some people that fall in the cracks, and just like, I'm going to bring it up because I thought it was so cool and funny. Jeremy, we felt like Jeremy needed something as recognition, and I went out of my way, and there was no collaboration. There was no idea that you had the same thought, and that was how I always think is when there's somebody that's going out of their way and doing so much and there's not recognition, there's a way to positively, promote them or recognize them. I was all about that. And that was so wild. I turned around, you're like, here, you might as well give them this too.
I felt so bad. I don't know that we talked about this on the show before, but I ffelt so bad. I didn't want to step on your toes, but I'm like, well, we might as well just pile on and give them a couple awards for the people that weren't there at the banquet. Brian had put together, a Promoter of the Year award, basically for Jeremy Osborne at Briarcliff. And we put together an award as well. And the award was really based on wanting to thank him for all of his efforts and give him credit for all his efforts. He's the glue guy behind the scenes doing so much, and it's thankless work. And yeah, so Brian and I both had the same idea, very similar awards. And I think Jeremy was like, okay, what is this? And yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, absolutely. So I just wanted to bring that up because, like I said, I feel like we're able to fill the gaps, and we see it, being around the sport and being here for so long. We see those things and hear the behind the scenes stuff. So we're able to, I guess, award that and recognize it when it needs to be.
And honestly, that's really where Digging Deep started. I've said it a multitude of times, but I wanted to tell Chad's story, and we told Chad's story in the very first episode. The second episode about that time is when Cody Ford finishes in the top 3 at Sunset Ridge. And I'm like, well, what a cool thing to talk about. Maybe we should talk about the racing. And after that, it just snowballed. And really, I felt like, and you talked about filling gaps and filling voids. And as a pro rider, like in my day, I felt like there was like, it didn't matter if you finished 6th or you finished 13th or whatever. I felt like it didn't, like nobody noticed. It didn't matter. That's where a lot of the race coverage from Digging Deep came from, was wanting to fill those voids. And if somebody gets 6th or 7th or 8th or 9th or whatever the case, 13th, whatever the case, I wanted to help fill the void and make sure that they got credit and recognition. And that's another thing that I'm really proud of. And the game fit perfectly into that. That's where fantasy kind of fit in. It was I think Harv was maybe the first one that brought it to my attention that, hey, can you do this? And at first I shot it down, and I think a whole year went by, and I said to my brother, hey, do you think we can pull this off? And we got connected with the right people. But again, that just helped fill the gaps and fill the void of coverage, where it's like, again, sometimes that tier 4 rider has been in 12th in the past and been the top finisher in that tier. And it's like, they won their tier, and that's freaking awesome that we can, help, kind of shed some light on that. But yeah, just really proud. Thanks to you guys. I'll let Billy comment too, but very proud of having you guys on here and the conversations that it's all created, and just so much fun.
No, I agree. It's very cool. And I'm proud to be a part of it all the time. And I told you from the beginning, when you first started doing it, I'm like, it's cool that, you're doing it and you're sticking with it, and your love for the sport comes through. Like I said, I'm glad to be a part of it, because I've been a part of the sport for so long, just like you and Brian both. Actually, Brian was there for my first race ever on my blaster.
Is that right?
But yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, it's nice to give some people recognition that stick around and do the best they can for the sport that we all love so much.
Yeah. It's awesome. It's a shared passion, and glad that we can, make it feel for so many of the listeners that they're just sitting here BSing about the sport that we love, just like we are. So I love that. Boys, first of all, I'm stoked because I spent probably 6+ hours on a 4-wheeler in the last couple of days.
Nice.
It was on a utility quad. Plowing.
With a plow in the front.
Yes, plowing 30+ inches of snow, but it's better than nothing, guys.
I'm sorry.
So I'll take it. But strong opening round, guys, right off the rip. Strong opening round. Triple Crown always creates all kinds of action and chaos and good racing. Decker's perfect place to host that opening round. Obviously, so many people spending the off season there. It's a very good kind of bridge into the season. Billy, right off the rip, what stood out about the opener, pal?
Max. Max did for me. I was worried about how he was going to come into that and the intensity of a sprint moto compared to him running out there in the works. He looked good. He looked really good. His starts looked good. I would say Max is probably my number one thing that stood out. He was just clean, but Max very rarely makes mistakes to begin with, but he looked good. That was my take from it.
He looked good. He put himself in good position. He said he had basically no off season because he was doing works racing and the whole deal, and being super successful out west. And it looked like he had no off season. He got better in every moto too.
Yes.
And again, as the day played out, he put himself in really good position. So yeah, Max had a really good day, finishing 3rd overall. Brian, what about you? What stood out to you right off the rip? What had you thinking, wow, that was impressive?
Okay, be patient with me because I'm from Ohio. So first thing I noticed was how beautiful it was and how jealous I was of that. The sun and the weather. I got to tell you, I was really jealous about that. But for me, I'm going to say Zack Decker. Zack Decker was on it. I mean, not that we didn't expect him to be, but he pulled a whole shot. He was up front. He was consistent. He ran a great race. He looked really good, really smooth. That one moto that him and Joel separated themselves, I was really impressed. He kept Joel within, reason, we'll say. So that really, for me, was most impressive. Also, Max did great. One thing I was very happy to see with Max, I felt like where previous seasons, when we talked about this, he had a soft start. He seemed to gain momentum, like as the moto went on, like what he was doing at the end of the year last year. So he didn't trail off, he dieseled through. And I feel like that was where he really showed me that, okay, he did put in the work in the off season. He's already, polished enough that he's going to put himself in good positions and be in the front. So I'd like to see him on a hard pack to see what he does, because I know once again now we're going to Etchicani, but the sand track, he looks good, and it's obvious that he's in a pretty good condition as far as physically right now to be able to do that, because he fended off Zack, I believe it was in Moto 3, pretty hard there for quite some time. So he's definitely in shape, and he's prepared to do the motos, not that they were long motos right there, but he can sustain at that point. So I was impressed by that.
Yeah, for sure. You guys both make really good points. Max was really good, really impressive. He was fighting the hurdle that we talked so much about on the preview show, was that he was not a guy staying there. Media day, I would think, helps the day before the racing to do that on Friday night. Like the guys get a little media session to do a few laps. I think that helps, but that also doesn't automatically negate the countless days and hours and laps spent by the other guys. So Max was really impressive. Zack, we knew was going to be impressive. We expected big things. He delivered. And he was really, really good. What stood out to me, that third moto when Joel and Zack got together and they were both forced to come through the pack a little bit, Zack was still just as in control. He rode really within his means, didn't overreact, didn't get crazy, nothing like that. Where last year, he put himself in good position. First moto, second moto, third moto wasn't quite as good. That is not what we saw this year. Zack was just as in control, even though he had to make some passes to get where he needed to get to. I just thought he was really in control of his race day all day long.
And you know what, just to add real quick, I don't know that he didn't get it put on his pit board when he was battling to try and make that pass on Max.
Yeah.
They might have told him, hey, calm it down, stay where you're at, don't crash trying to get by him. I don't know what was there. So just speculating, that is a possibility. So it might not have been that he couldn't have put the move on. They might have just said, hey, you got it, stay where you're at, stay safe.
Don't risk it.
100%. I mean, that's what I would do. Obviously I don't know about you guys, but when I'm out there, I'm always calculating, what scores are, who's in front, whatever. I don't know if he does that or if somebody's doing it for him on the pit board, but that's a real possibility. So I don't want to sell him short on what his capabilities were, because he rode a great race, and that was the smart move, honestly.
Kind of necessary to have somebody doing the math for you at a Triple Crown, because it's very easy in a Triple Crown, I would assume, to be like, screw it, I'm just going to try to pass him just to be sure. A lot of math going on at a Triple Crown. So the guys that I want to shout out, you already touched on Max. I thought Max was really impressive because, again, he wasn't a guy that was there preseason, and he looked really, really good. And that probably explains a little bit too why he got better and better as the day went. Brandon doesn't have a good day. Brandon Hogue does not have a good day. He ends up it's reported that he had an air filter fall off. That happens first moto. Second moto, he gets held up a little bit. He's just caught in the pack, couldn't make a ton of moves, finishes sixth. Last moto, I believe he takes his sight lap, gets back to the line, quad snubs or whatever, bike won't start. He DNSs the final moto. Not the day that Brandon wanted. That being said, Brandon, to me, was very impressive. His riding was very impressive. His lap times in qualifying were fire. And then for him to come out in that first moto and basically keep Joel within a couple seconds for most of the moto, 3-4 seconds tops by the end, to be at a racetrack where Joel has done 1 million laps all off season. It's literally his practice track. And for Brandon to jump in there, and we talked about on the last episode how Brandon had said, I kind of just need to get through this one. Again, they didn't go the way he wanted to, but I thought Brandon's riding was really impressive on the day.
I was impressed by where he was at. His lap times were really close to Joel's in the qualifiers. I was impressed by that. I was just curious how long he'd be able to keep it up. And that first moto, obviously, what did he do? He made it till, I think, the white flag
lap. Yeah.
There at it. So he was obviously able to maintain that level and consistency, at least the Moto 1. I was kind of surprised by Moto 2 that he kind of got complacent or got pulled into those lap times with those guys, or maybe they were battling so much he couldn't make the move. Obviously I wasn't there, so I don't know what lines were fast enough to be able to make the moves. And, you have those certain areas where you can kind of jump out and go for it, and other areas where you just got to tuck in because you lose. I wasn't there, so I wasn't able to see that. But I was surprised that I felt like he had more speed, that he finished where he did in Moto2. And then I didn't know what happened Moto3. I seen him, get pushed off the line. I didn't know what happened to the bike or what happened, still haven't heard. I don't know what I did hear about the air filter coming off, which is a shame for something so simple to take that away from him.
Yeah, I agree. His lap times are always pretty good. He's got the speed. I don't know. He's got to put it together. And I feel like he's got some terrible luck. And like you said, him getting stuck in the pack there, I think that's where a lot of the guys, Zack and Max and Brandon, and there was a lot of that last year where a lot of them guys, that 4th through 8th place, 4th through 9th place, those guys, it's almost like where they started is where they stayed. And this year, obviously, Max didn't. Zack, like you said, coming through the pack, it's nice to see them guys getting that down. And I think Brandon will, who knows? You're flustered after that. You're angry. Anything can happen there. He's going to put it together. It's just when.
And I think that's why, he's one of the guys that impressed me on the day, speed wise, at least, is because, again, him and Jeffrey both outlined 2 weeks ago when they were, when we had him on the show, that how big of a hurdle racing at Decker's was for the guys that weren't staying there. So for him to, he had just told me that like a week and a half or 2 weeks prior to 13 days prior to, watching this play out that way. So then, to see him just be so good, it stuck with me. That being said, talking about that second moto where you guys are talking about, he gets, kind of stuck in the pack there, falls into everybody else's pace. I also think that the other thing he was battling there is that he was racing multiple dudes. It was like a freight train of, 3 or 4 guys, and he was in the middle of that. And then something happened on the final lap with him and Mason. They must have tangled for a second or something, because they went from being, all over. And I guess we should just breeze through what actually happened in these motos one by one, but they tangled and then lost a little bit. Like it looked like he might have got as high as 5th or 4th on that last lap, and if he could have made a move, and then something happened and everybody kind of spread out on that final time that they took the white flag. But okay, so Moto 1 kind of went through this already, but Moto 1 kind of goes chalk. Joel gets the whole shot. Brandon's P2, runs P2 until the white flag comes out, and Zack was sitting 3rd. So all was good until it wasn't with Brandon. Comes around for the white flag lap. He doesn't come through. He has this air filter falls off. Sounds like his quad expired. So Joel, Zack Decker, Mason Jackson, those couple guys, everybody moves up one spot. Max Lindquist 4th, Joey Norris finishes in the top 5. So awesome for Joey. We haven't mentioned him yet. He puts together a really good day as well. We'll get to that. So Moto2, we were just talking about this. Moto2 started with Zack Decker ripping a whole shot, which is awesome. Joel would make the pass after a lap or two. After that, Zack kind of runs second. We talked about that already, where he kept pace with Joel for a little while there and rode his own race in second. So Joel, Zack, Max Lindquist, Joey Norris, Mason Jackson, and then Brandon Hogue. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is how those guys finish. Like we were just talking about, Brandon really was trying to make a push there at the end, but some little tangle happens with Mason Jackson and Brandon Hogue on that last lap that spreads everybody out. And so credit and shout out goes to Joey Norris, ends up 4th in that moto, which really helps his overall, really solid for him. He finishes 4th in that moto. So career best for him, of course. So now Moto 3, we haven't really touched on this one a ton yet. A little bit. We hinted at what happens in the first corner, all those things, but Moto 3 was the exciting one. It started, we touched already. This is the one where Brandon, we see the video on the video coverage that the series had out there on YouTube, which was awesome. That live coverage there was sweet. Credit to everybody involved with that. But we see Brandon's bike getting pushed off the line. I believe I saw him on the sight lap, like I said. So I think he took the sight lap and then, got down to the line, must have snubbed it, shut it off, whatever, went to refire it. It doesn't refire. So we see the Williams guys and, Chad Weenan was down there trying to start his bike and whatever, they pushed it and it wouldn't start. And Brandon would have to DNS this moto. So that's how it started. But after, I guess that just kicked off the excitement because it was a huge hole shot from Joey Norris. Joey Norris rips a gigantic hole shot.
Yes. Outrageous.
Yeah. Huge. So credit to him. Tangle happens at the first turn. It looked like maybe Joel got into Zack a little bit there in that first corner and bunched everybody up.
Yeah, he slammed somebody. He came in there with authority, and I was like, oh, my.
Yeah, I think he got into Zack.
What are you doing?
I think he got into Zack. So in that moment, guys, time stood still, right? Because they were hung up for a moment. The guys that were clear of that, like, Joey makes a break for it. Max ends up being in second. John Galata was up there. Adam Ulrich was up there. So like the guys that got clear of it, they got a little jump on the rest of the pack. When the dust settled, Zack and Joel were sitting like fifth and sixth, something like that. I know Joel was in sixth at the time, but Max was making a break for it out front. And it was really fun to see Max leading everybody around in that third moto.
He took off.
Yeah, Joey gets the whole shot. Max makes the pass pretty quickly, and Max takes off. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, this is going to be awesome. This is going to be really fun to watch, see how this plays out. He's got clean air. Max is never in clean air. Sorry, Max, but you're not. Yeah. So he's in clean air. I'm like, okay, this is going to be really exciting to see how this plays out. So it's Lindquist, Norris, Decker, Hetrick, Ulrich at about the midway point of this moto. So shout out to Adam Ulrich as well. Very deserved. He had a career ride in this third moto going. So Hetrick makes the pass kind of one after another on these guys. So he makes the pass on Zack. He makes the pass on Norris, and quickly, just like it was almost all of a sudden, he's to the back of Max. Like I couldn't believe it. Like I felt like this was Joel showing the speed he must have had in his back pocket. Like we always talk about on these shows, because it was like the drop of a hat. When he got into second, he was already on Max. I couldn't believe that it played out that way.
There was a gap there. There was a gap
there, and he was all of a sudden there. And Billy has talked about this in the past, where it's like Joel showcased that speed he actually has. And I felt like that's kind of what we saw in that third moto. I think he kind of uncorked it.
I was sitting with my dad, we're watching, and as soon as he passed to get into second, I looked at my dad and I said, 2 laps. He's like, no way. He's like, Max got a huge lead. I said 2 laps. And when he passed him over the finish line for the second lap, I like gave him a little look, like.
Okay, they're side by side.
There was something on that far side of the track. It looked like he was pulling really hard, and it was out of view, like what was videotaping. So I was kind of mad, because I was like, okay, what is he doing over there? Because whatever he's doing, it was just like he'd go out of view, and it was like Houdini right up there. He'd pull a bunch out. So that was pretty impressive. I'd like to see what he was doing, or had some bird's eye view on that, because it had to be impressive, because he pulled really hard. And then, obviously Joel, once he gets there and puts his hooks into you, we knew that was going to happen. But that was very impressive. And shout out to Joey.
Yeah,
I ended up getting a message from his dad, because I was throwing some things at him, and he said that Joey's arms were so rock hard that the track just brutal. He said he came off the track and he could, like, his arms were so pumped up, they were rock hard for a while. He could barely hold on. So I know that one moto, I was wondering, I'm like, what are you doing, Joey? Stay
that
in
third
it.
moto.
He was like, he could barely hold on. And we haven't mentioned Noah yet. I got to bring up Noah.
Oh, yeah.
Noah did a great job. And then both those guys are
all day long.
Noah's, first time racing pro there, and Joey, second year here. But that was very impressive. I thought that those guys, not to take anything away from anybody else, like Mason Jackson rode how I expected him to, I guess. I know he's also another younger guy that's in that, but it's almost like he's proven himself to be there. He's real solid. Mm-hmm. So I'm really excited to see, some of my local boys, boys both, kind of tag team with each other and stay right there where they were real close. So that was impressive.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned Joey, and we'll talk about him more, when we get to overalls. But it's funny that you say that, because you could tell it looked like he had something going on physically in that third moto. I figured he was tired.
Yeah. Couldn't hold on. His arms.
He got pumped up. I understand. And maybe that's a byproduct of where he was. He was sitting third, and it looked like he was all alone in third.
Panic.
Yeah.
That could have happened when he was in front, when he realized, like, okay, I just yanked this, and then was waiting for Joel to come by to latch in and, like, relax. Yep. And then it didn't happen. And then he seen Max and was probably like panic mode, like, oh, go. And that could have happened in a lap for all.
And even sitting third, Brian, and being like, oh my gosh, I'm in third in a pro moto, like I know that's where my mind would have went for sure. I guarantee it. Yeah. So just to finish up that third moto, Max fought him. Max and Joel were almost side by side for 2 full sections as Joel tried to make the pass stick, but he finally did do that. And Joel makes it a perfect 1-1-1 on the day to start the season, but he had to work for it a little bit in that third moto. Again, it was fun to see Max lead. lead. Fun to see Joel have to kind of uncork it, like we said, but it ends up being a 1-1 day for Joel. That's his 77th win of his professional career. So like we talked about, we're, a few years here, just a touch over a couple, potentially getting to that 100 overall win mark that he's on the hunt for, and starts off his season here with another win as he is trying to make it 7, sitting at 6 titles right now, and down the stretch here, trying to make it 7 here in this 2026 season. Zack Decker ends up 2nd overall. Zack Decker earns his first career podium. We've talked about him a lot already. 2, 2, 3 on the day, plus a hole shot. Again, we touched on it right away at the start of this thing. We all had high hopes for Zack. We had big expectations. He delivered in a major way, and he was as impressive as I think you could have wanted him to be. He was as impressive as he could have possibly been. To finish 2nd overall, be super solid, 2nd in 2 motos, a whole shot, the whole deal, and very mature in the way that he managed that 3rd moto. I was very, 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 very happy for the dude. He was awesome on the day. Stoked to see him finish on the podium for his first time in his professional career. And my mind went back to a few years ago now. It is a few years ago when he got hurt at Gatorback, and he was so good in that first moto. He
was fast.
He was so good. He finished in the top 3. It was like, oh my gosh, we're watching Zack Decker turn a corner here. And he was so close. I mean, it looked like he was potentially in podium position. He was running at the front in that second moto when he gets hurt, throttle sticks, he falls out of the sky, gets hurt so badly. And he's been on the quest kind of coming back from that. He was really good at some races last year for sure. We talked about that on the preview show. But my mind went back to how close he was and finishing 3rd in that moto back at Gatorback. And then for him to fulfill this dream, this journey to be an overall podium finisher, I was so happy. The hair on my arm stood up for him as I, typed in all caps, Zack Decker earns the first overall podium of his career. My mind just went back to the journey that he had. And the dude deserves a lot of credit because he was rock solid on the day.
Yeah. I actually had to think about it when you posted that, because I was thinking, man, is it really his first? Like, I thought he was primed for one other time. I thought he got it. Maybe he didn't. That probably was at Decker's a previous year.
Close last year. Close, but
yeah. He just missed it. Maybe got like a 4th, but I just
missed it. Yep. In that final moto.
That's crazy to see, how well he's done coming through. And, the races that he's done well. Mm-hmm. I had to sit back and think about it that, wow, I can't believe he hasn't put that together till now. So that had to be really cool for him, though, too, to do it at his home track, with his family and everything. I feel like that would be one of those things. I mean, not that everybody says it's a home track advantage. Listen, you just went out and raced with the baddest dudes on the planet and earned it. I don't care where it was. Revel in that. Like, own that, because that's something amazing that none of us could do it. So props to him. And I hope he understands, what a milestone that was. So that was really cool.
Not only that, but look at all the other dudes that spend, the off season there. Like, it's not just a gimme. It's not like his private track, right? Like, everybody has.
He's not the only one riding.
That's my point. Right. Yeah, that's my point.
Yeah, he's never out there by himself. You know what I mean? It's always open when he's out there, anybody can go out. So yeah, you're exactly right. That's why I said, I hope he's proud of that and really takes that, and nobody's able to take anything away by saying some garbage like that, but good for him. That's all I can say is I hope he's smiling from ear to ear over that, because I know I would be.
Billy, I got a message or somebody tagged me in something yesterday after the races, had a picture of him riding yesterday afternoon saying, you could say home track advantage or whatever the case, but it doesn't happen without effort. And it was a picture of him, and it was like this person showcasing the fact that on Sunday evening, after all the races and the track's probably thrashed and whatever, Zack Decker was out there spinning laps, probably still training, wanting to do this again, just earned his first podium. Now he wants to do it again. Pretty cool.
It is very cool. I saw the same thing. And I wanted to touch again on us talking about his maturity.
Yeah.
And it's funny seeing that happen, because I saw Chad first. Chad did the same thing. And then Joel did the same thing. And then Bryce did the same thing when everybody was young and fast, and it was just mistake after mistake or wreck or break or whatever. And Chad figured it out. And then Joel was the fast guy, and then he figured it out, and then Bryce figured it out. And it's cool to see him do the same thing now, figure out that you don't have to go from 7th to 1st in the first lap. Take your time. You got it. You got the speed. do it.
Yeah. And that first, I would assume I've never finished on the pro class podium, but I would assume after the first one, I would think, okay, now I've done it. And hopefully the next one, comes even easier. That would be the hope. And I'm sure he's excited to kind of show people like, okay, I did it at my track, but now I'm ready to do it at a different track.
Yes.
That isn't one that's my own. So again, credit to Zack, first career podium. So cool. He was one of the headline stories of the day for sure, was Zack Decker earning his first career podium. We'll get right back to the show, but now a word from our sponsors. And thank you for listening to these ads. Without these great companies, none of this would be possible. Show your support for the people who support us. The official tire choice of Digging Deep, CST tires are the choice of ATV racing's elite on the track, in the woods, and every other terrain. CST tires swept the ATV racing world in 2022 as Joel Hetrick, Bryson Neal, and Bo Barron rode their Pulse MXR and Pulse HT tires to an ATV Pro Motocross title, GNCC XC1 Pro title, and 10th ATV Pro Works Racing title, respectively. Led by champion Joel Hetrick and podium contenders Bryce Ford, Jeffrey Rastrelli, and Nick Janusa, CST's Pulse MXR tire is the most trusted tire in ATV motocross today. Available in soft and standard compounds, the Pulse MXR offers the highest level of traction, most predictable cornering, and superior wear characteristics when compared to the competition. And did I mention they have a contingency program as well? Visit shop.csttires.com to join the CST takeover today, or prepare to be beat by someone who did. The best of the best choose CST. Do you? You know we're Team Blue Crew here at the Digging Deep ATVMX Podcast, as the Yamaha YFZ 450R is the official ATV of Digging Deep. In a move started by 8-time ATVMX Pro Class National Champion Chad Wienen, who with his next championship will become the winningest champion in ATV motocross history, we are living in ATV racing's YFZ 450R era. Alongside Wienen, 7-time GNCC XC1 Pro ATV National Champion Walker Fowler welcomed a pair of new champions to the Yamaha Champions Club, as the podium-proven Yamaha YFZ 450R proved to be the winning choice for Joel Hetrick and Bryson Neal. This unprecedented success for the YFZ 450R, its unrivaled quality and performance, and the clear fact that Yamaha is the leading OEM supporter of ATV racing has resulted in a complete Yamaha takeover within the sport quad market. Evident by the continuation of Yamaha's Blue Crew Racer Support Program, Yamaha riders will once again cash in on payout and prize opportunities in 2023, including a chance to win a brand new YFZ 450R. For more info, head over to YamahaBlueCrew.com. Follow Yamaha Outdoors, as well as the new Blue Crew official channel on social media, and check out Yamaha's full proven off-road lineup at YamahaOutdoors.com today. SSI Decals, your way. SSI Decals sets the standard with the best looking decals, graphics kits, and vinyl wraps in the industry. Established in 1947, SSI took shape as an offshoot of their parent company by doing a little work for local pro Chad Wienen. Nearly 2 decades later, and fueled by a passion for ATVs, the company has flourished into one of ATV Moto's most recognized brands. From ATV Motocross, SSI has expanded into graphics and design work for top racers in GNCC, Works Racing, Pro Motocross and Supercross, Off-Road, and more, headlined by 8-time world champion Top Fuel drag racer Clay Milliken. Whether your project is big or small, SSI Decals will make your identity stick. Get started today at SSIDecals.com and use code DIGGINGDEEP10 for 10% off at checkout. Things are about to get sick. The Digging Deep ATVMX Podcast is brought to you in part by DID and their wide range of championship-winning chains. From the street to the track and everywhere in between, DID chains are designed to give you the optimal riding experience with great performance and increased chain life. Consistent to the core, pick up your box of reliability today. DID, what drives you? For over 150 years, Valvoline has been dedicated to constant improvement and innovation across all disciplines of racing. As a proud member of Team Valvoline for nearly a decade, I have witnessed their unwavering commitment to pushing the boundaries of performance. Valvoline has sponsored some of the greatest names in motorsports, solidifying their position as a powerhouse within the industry. Being a part of this historically great team has been an incredible privilege. When it comes to my equipment, whether it's my daily commuting vehicles, race quads, or anything in between, I trust nothing but Valvoline. Their range of products and lubricants consistently deliver increased horsepower, durability, and engine life. I'm excited to announce Valvoline's breakthrough in performance, Valvoline Ultimate Power Sports. With up to 8 times stronger rust protection and 50% better wear protection, this cutting-edge formula ensures your ATV's engine runs smoother and longer for the ultimate ride. Tackle rugged terrains with confidence, knowing your ATV's engine is equipped with the best protection available. Ready to experience the next level of performance? Head over to shop.valvolineglobal.com and use code DIGGINGDEEP10 at checkout to unlock an exclusive 10% off on your purchase. Don't miss out on this limited time offer to enhance your ATV's performance with Valvoline's ultimate power sports engine oil.
Hey everyone, this is Larry Mills, president of DP Brakes North America and proud partner of the Digging Deep ATVMX Podcast. We at DP Brakes are a longtime supporter of ATV racing and the world leader in sintered brake technology, dominating the ATV world for decades by supporting the best four-wheeled racers on the planet. This year's lineup includes Jeff Rastrelli, Mark Baldwin and Baldwin Motorsports, Ford Brothers Racing, Nick Janusa, and many more, including Mr. Digging Deep himself, Cody Jansen, plus all the top 17 GNCC pros such as 7-time champion Walker Fowler, Bryson Neal, Hunter Hart, Cole Richardson, Jared McClure, Adam McGill, and previous champion Chris Borich. These top riders continue to appreciate the high performance and impressive durability that their DP brakes have to offer. Products ultimately help place them on top of the podium week after week. DP brakes are available through www.dp-brakes.com, or you can purchase them through your local Parts Unlimited stocking dealer, or you can even message us, myself, Larry Mills, or DP Brakes on Instagram or Facebook. And if you have any questions about product or sponsorship support, please ask us. We are waiting for you. Join the best ATV riders in the world equipped with DP brakes, and have a great year, everyone.
Headlined by the 4130 Chromoly, Launderville Steel and Concrete Supply is a full-service steel supplier of new and surplus steel, aluminum, and stainless steel products. This racing family-owned full metal service center and concrete product supplier comes with over 30 years of experience serving the entire United States from their central Midwest location. As the number one choice for nationwide shipments and with available next-day delivery in select areas, LSE has you covered near or far. 4130 is not just the chromoly tubing and plate used in the building of chassis for an array of motorsports applications, but it is also the name of the newest addition to the pro paddock with riders Jaden JJ Launderville and Max Lindquist, introducing the new 4130 Motorsports team. Launderville Steel offers a large selection of material for any project, including their concrete division that can supply everything you need to complete your next business or personal project. For a quote or more info, visit laundervillesteel.com today or give them a call at 715-675-6193. That's 715-675-6193. With the desire to keep you in the race, Ultimate Poly Products offers the Ultimate Protection Collection of case savers, chain sliders, intake manifolds, and more. Founded on quality in 1998, this family-owned and operated business produces products created by racers for racers. These industry-leading products are proudly made and manufactured in the USA, with their case savers being made of the highest quality American-made polyurethane on the market and designed to completely conform to your engine case to help prevent case damage from a thrown chain, because no one wants to be a spectator on race day. Join top pro riders like Bryson Neal, Walker Fowler, John Glotta Jr., Adam McGill, Cole Richardson, and more by using UPP Racing products. Use discount code DIGGINGDEEP15 at uppracing.com to save on your next order. Ultimate Poly Products, made to last longer so you can ride more. Thanks for listening, and remember to support our partners. Now back to the show. Max Lindquist goes 4.32 on the day, 11th podium of his career. Rock solid. He took that works experience and used that to finish on the podium to kick off the season. So that's a good start for him.
Yeah.
One of the best starts to a season that he's had so far. And I think that he's looking to have that springboard him for the start of the season here. And I would think with the works experience, I kind of hinted at this in a post today, but I would assume with the works experience, I would assume that he's going to be a rider to watch at Chicani.
Yeah, he's excited for it, I bet.
Oh, I'm sure.
Him and Zach. I mean, key point there, like Billy just said, all those other guys that figured it out. I was just thinking in my head, what if this is the beginning of the Zach era now? He figured it out. He put it together. He liked it. He's out there training. He wants it. We're going to another stand track.
Yeah.
If you let Zach get on that podium again, that confidence might take over and we might see a streak that pushes him to fill Bryce's shoes. I mean, it's not out of the question.
Absolutely not. No, it's absolutely not. And as you're touching on another guy who definitely has, I mean, Zack just did it. I think we've been talking about this for more than a season at this point, but the next guy in line, Mason Jackson, finishes 4th overall on the day, 3.54 on the day. He was so solid. Every race he was solid. Every race he was in the mix. He had to come from the back in that third and final moto after being kind of in that tangle. I think he was one of the last ones out of it. He had to really race to the front, and it was really impressive in doing so. Got all the way up to 4th after having to race through all that chaos. But Mason is a guy, one of these first races, he's going to get his first career podium. I'm almost certain of it. And I think that you guys are both going to agree with me, because we've been trying to predict these things for the last year plus, but Mason was on the cusp of it here. And I think that he's going to be a guy that is, I mean, I'm probably going to be predicting it going into Atchikani, frankly.
Yeah, I remember predicting Mason Jackson's first podium at Pleasure Valley last year on the show. Yep. And I mean, it's going to happen. We know it's going to. It's just another one of those, when is it going to happen?
Not if. Yep. Not if.
Yep.
He's solid. I mean, it kind of reminds me of like Nick Janusa, how he's
just there.
He minimizes mistakes. He's always right there. Like he's 3 to 5. You know what I mean? It's just that's his niche of where his abilities always put him, and he's right there. He's primed for it. We're just waiting for it to happen. He's perfectly capable. I mean, I feel he's very consistent, very solid. You know, I know he's one of the younger guys in the class, but I kind of feel like he's a seasoned guy for some reason. He is. He's
the way he carries himself, the way he rides.
Yeah. There's a lot of maturity there. Yeah. There's a lot of fight there.
A lot of confidence too.
100%. Just like, you know, we had talked about something happened with him and Brandon in that turn. He is not intimidated or scared by anything or anyone. He's going to hold it, and, you know, and you're going to have to earn it with him. So I'm really impressed. And, you know, he's one I always watch. So I'm looking forward to see where he wants to be in this season, because I think he's going to be the one that determines that. Like he's got the full package.
Mm-hmm. He does. Great bike, great team. TDR is awesome. They got everything figured out. I think you're right. Like on the previous episode, on the preview show, we were talking about how, you know, he was going to be a pain in the side of, you know, the guys trying to get on the podium. And I think that that's truly how I believe it. Janusa is the perfect comp, because Janusa was 4th or 5th every year of his career, basically until the bitter end. Mason's been 4th or 5th in every championship since he's been a pro. I would assume this year will be no different. And again, like he was a pain in the side. Like I feel like every podium, Mason, it's going to kind of have to go through Mason, you know, like he's going to be one of the guys that's going to be right there fighting for it, a pain in the side of all the other guys trying to get there. He's a dog. There's no quitting him. He races everybody hard. And honestly, his starts are pretty solid, and he's got no quit. That's a really good combination.
He's the gatekeeper.
The gatekeeper for the podium. He's never had a podium, but he's still the gatekeeper for the podium. So, it's going to be fun to watch down the stretch. Joey Norris, we touched on him a little bit. Super solid on the day. Gets a whole shot. Goes 5.45. Finishes in the top 5 overall, despite having pumped up arms in the end of that third moto. Like I said, huge whole shot in that third and final moto. He was stellar all day, and first top 5 overall finish of his pro career. So Joey Norris. We talked about him a little bit. I'll let Billy jump in there and talk about Joey a little bit, but he was really impressive on the day. Put himself in good position. We talked about how Decker Training Facility is the perfect place for a guy like Joey Norris to start his season, and he really made it happen at the opener there, putting it in the top 5 overall.
Yeah, he looked good. That start was incredible.
It was huge.
I mean, and I watched it close too a couple of times, and it's not even like his jump was that much better than anybody else's, or I don't know what it was. Who does the motor? He has Mark do his
Baldwin.
And I think he weighs 100 pounds. So
I was going to say, yes, he's like 125 pounds, and that thing's a rocket ship. He looked good though. He was smooth. I thought it was really cool seeing him run up there, and you know that had to have some part in that arm pump, because I mean, just to be riding up there, you're gripping them bars. You don't know who's behind you. You're thinking sprint moto. I'm going to stay here. I'm just going as fast as I can to get away from them guys. Yeah, that was fun. I'm sure he was smiling.
And then he went on to win Pro-Am as well, Brian.
Yeah, he did. I seen that. I was pretty happy because I started getting a little bit worried because I thought, okay, those are shorter motos. And if he's pumping up like that, that he's going to have a day. You know what I mean? Like, wait till we go to Echikani and it's the normal motos.
Yeah.
I'm concerned, but then I seen he bounced back. So I don't know if his dad gave him some pickle juice or some mustard, or I don't know what took place. I know I was trying to get him riled up, like, go get the kid fired up, whatever you got to do. And he was like, I'm trying. So, whatever it was, I seemed to hit Noah up there again. So once again, like I said, them boys, they seem to shake and bake together.
Speaking of Noah, my hot take was really close there.
To finishing in the top 5 overall, a rookie finishing in the top 5. So Noah finishes 6th overall, goes 6.76 on the day. He's the top rookie, was very impressive, but yes, Billy, he was very close to finishing in the top 5 to be the top rookie to finish 6th overall, man. It was pretty awesome. And honestly, it was you were closer on your prediction than I expected it to be.
Yeah, I was the whole day going into the third moto. I'm like, come on, buddy. Come on. I can't wait to text Cody and tell him, look what happened.
That was close. I expected Noah to do really well. I felt like he was the sleeper.
So did I, Brian, but like every moto, no matter how it started, where he started, whatever the case, he found himself basically like he goes 6.76 on the day, but he basically found himself, he was like qualifying the whole deal. He was like the 6th best guy and found 6th in every moto, which as a rookie in your very first race your pro debut, to be that consistent and find your place in the moto where you fit every time. That was really impressive. I didn't mean to cut you off, Brian. You can pick up there, but it was he was so rock solid. And to be a rookie, and he's, I don't know how to say this, but like even at the end of last year, as he's fighting for a Pro-Am championship and things, like could be a little erratic. And that is not what we saw on the day at all.
And I think that's just because of the speed that was there. I almost felt like at Decker's, he had a little bit more to offer, but he reeled it in a little bit, with those guys. Maybe that was just nerves or, showing a little bit of respect and keeping it contained. But like Billy and I got to see him at the Bartosik race last year. Yeah. And that's, I really was like, okay, not that he didn't showcase any speed or skills before that, but he was put in with some really good guys like Sar and a couple of them guys, and he held his own. Like he owned that. He went out there and in my mind, he was the guy to beat. He went out and he threw it down and he let them all know. He rode with such confidence. That really impressed me. And from there on, I thought, Noah has something special there that he uncorks. And that was pretty impressive. So like Billy said, I felt like he was going to be right there on the cusp, that if somebody had a hiccup, he was going to capitalize, because he seems to find himself in really good positions.
Both of you were steadfast in the fact that you both said like he was going to be the top of that tier. He was going to be the top rookie. And that's what you guys expected. In my mind, he was still better than expected. He was still better. He was stronger. He was more consistent than I think even any of us expected. I don't want to put words in your guys' mouth, but again, to be that rock solid and never basically come out of line all day long. Again, that's like as good as you could ever imagine your pro debut.
Yeah, I liked seeing the mature way in how he did it, because like Brian said, I don't know if he just reeled it back a little bit to stay consistent and to not make the mistakes and, not be a rookie kid. It was nice to see he just stuck in there and did what I thought he could do. And like Brian said, just the Bartosik race and watching him there, and I rode practice with him there a little bit and watched him, and then he goes out and he won, I think, every single pit bike class. I don't know where he was borrowing all these things from, quads and bikes. And the kid can ride anything, and he's fun to watch.
6th overall for Noah Arnold in his rookie debut.
Damien as well, because if he was hurt, which we all seen that he was just coming back. I'm going to say that was a huge surprise. Like I know he's a really good rider, and we can expect great things from him. I just didn't, expect it this soon after injury coming back that quickly, especially on a track like Decker's. We just talked about Joey got so pumped up. I know it was rough. It had to be hell on his shoulder, I think is what he heard. So for him to hold on and do that well, I mean, that's a feat in itself. So he deserves a lot of credit for that. And I'm waiting to see him healthy, because I feel like he's going to be another one that surprise you depending upon the track. Mm-hmm. I feel like he's going to gain consistency, and he's sitting back right now watching it, while he's healing and getting better. So there's a lot of potential there as well.
For sure. You said Damian Hubert. I think your mic might have cut out just for a second there, but yeah, Damian Hubert was super impressive as well. He was sleepy good. That's what I kind of had written down for him. He was sleepy good. He goes 7.98 on the day. You look down, he ends up 7th overall in his rookie debut, which is really impressive. And again, we came in, I would have probably talked about him more, expected more, but we knew he was coming in hurt. He told me he just, he was going to race, but originally they weren't even thinking he was going to race that race. So for him to be that good and just having come off an injury, that was very impressive for him too. And you're exactly right. Like we talked about the fact that Decker's is a little bit of an outlier because of all the people having, time on the track, and it's a triple crown and all these things. I still think like we were going to come out of Decker's and not have everything figured out. We were still going to still have questions. And I still feel that way. Like, I feel like,
for sure,
like Etchikani is still going to have a opener feel, kind of like it's going to be a totally different deal. Yeah. Just like Daytona in the past was a little bit of an outlier because it's Daytona. I think Triple Crown at Decker's is still a little bit of an outlier. And as we transition to the next couple of races, we're going to see where everybody fits in. But I think Damian's only going to get better. Like you said, Brian, he's only going to get better as he gets healthier and gets more time on the bike. And maybe he's going to be pushing for the top rookie spot. I mean, as a former rookie of the year, I'm always cued in to the battle for rookie of the year. And this year with Noah and Damian Hubert and, Heath Hanna's in there, and we'll have Cale Deal in there and some other guys. I mean, the battle for rookie of the year, this could be as good a battle as we've seen in a really long time.
Yeah, I'm excited to see Cal come in too. He's always been, such a solid dude and down to earth. I really like him, and I'm excited for him to come out and see where he kind of falls in place at with those guys. So I think it's just going to come down to probably the conditioning aspect of it, who's in shape, and with those longer motos than what they're used to, seeing what kind of toll it takes on them. We might them go out and show all kinds of flash for the first half and then kind of slowly drop, which I would expect at least for a while. But it's going to be interesting because those guys are going to put on a show because they all have the speed. So it's going to be like what Billy was saying, who rides with maturity and who takes opportunity when it's given, like who's smart about their passes and, their finishes, calculating in their head to get that position. And when we see that maturity and on track presence, then we'll know. Obviously all of us have been around for quite some time. We've seen it and we've watched other guys do it. So I feel that that's going to be something we'll be able to pick up on, and that'll be, keen to our eyes that we'll be impressed with.
Billy, John Glada finishes 8th overall. Now, before we get into John, he had a good solid day. He got better as the day went on, I felt like, and that was probably to be expected. I will tell you that I did cave. I wanted to stick with John Glada for my fantasy team because he's been so good at fantasy in the past, but I did cave and I put Noah on my team as my team rider, and it paid off. It paid off. So I'm sure we all had the same team of Joel Hetrick, Brandon Hogue, Zack Decker, and Noah Arnold. I'm sure we all had the same thing there. But yeah, John was really good, got better throughout the day, goes 9, 10, 7, starts that third moto up in the top 3, I believe. He was really good. And I would think if we're going to see him at Etchikani, like we said on the previous show, he's going to be really good there. But John Glada, 8th overall, I would guess that's a career best for him. That was pretty strong, Billy.
Yeah, I think so. And that start in the third, I think definitely helped him. And even just for the future, him running up there with those guys, I think showed him a little bit. Mm-hmm. And being around, Max and Joey and Joel and stuff, even, if people were going by him, he gets to battle with them a little bit. It's got to help you. I mean, you would think in the long run, it's showing him, what some of the moto guys are like.
And he's been a top 10 guy. Like I said, that's why he's been so good at fantasy. He's been a top 10 guy when he's been there. So credit to him. Adam Ulrich ends up 9th overall. He goes 8, 11, 10 on the day. It was a heartbreaker because he ran inside the top 3 because he gets by John Glada, goes to 3rd, ends up running inside the top 5 for a lot of that third moto, falls to 6th, and then has an engine, I believe, expire in that final moto. So heartbreaker for Adam, but he was putting together a career ride. in that third moto. So he deserves a lot of credit. Marshall Smith goes 10, 12, 9 on the day. He ends up top 10 overall, which is good for him. Heath Hanna didn't have the day that he wanted, 11th overall. I think he crashed in the first one with a 12th. He finishes a solid 8th in the second one. And then I believe he broke in the third one. So not the day that Heath Hanna wanted. And then obviously we touched on him a little bit already, but Brandon Hogue finishes 12th on the day. He goes 11 after that motor expires in the first one. 6th is what he could manage in the second one with a terrible gate pick, terrible gate position. I knew he was going to really battle there. Jeffrey and Brandon had talked about previously how if you're not in really good gate position there, it makes it really hard. And we saw like moto winner, second, third, fourth, fifth, everybody was right in a row from the very inside gate and then just going over. So he was on the other side of the doghouse, came out, really far back and had a fight on his hands. But Brandon ends up going 11, 6 DNS on the day. And guys, we talked about he started very well. I'm sure whatever they can do to button up this program even more is what they're going to do. Jeffrey was taking a lot of ownership in, because people were even pointing out on the internet, I saw the fact that he said that he doesn't have DNFs with his machines and, whatever. And then this happens. And so that didn't age great for Jeffrey, but hopefully this is an outlier and they're able to button up that program and make it even better going forward. We talked about, very solid, and PRP is involved, and should be really good going forward. But what is the outlook for Brandon, guys? Because I want to ask you guys, what did we learn? And as I look at, kind of what did we learn here? And again, we talked about the fact that Etchikani is going to maybe confirm some things for us. It's a racetrack that, everybody's going to come into pretty equally. I know that they had a ride day there earlier on, but it's not like people did buku laps there heading into this one. That being said, our SSI Stamp It segment, in long term, I still think the battle for second and third is going to come through Max Lindquist and Brandon Hogue. Those are the guys. And now Zach is added to that list of guys that have podiumed, but I still think the guys, Brandon has 16-ish podiums on his resume. Max has 11 now. I think those guys are still the P2 and P3 riders, whatever order you want to put them in my mind. Zach now maybe is bridging that gap to get up with those guys, but I still think that second and third place spot is going to go through Max Lindquist and Brandon Hogue with second and third. I think that hopefully we see Zach challenging, some more at some more races. I think we're definitely going to see Mason Jackson challenge. We already talked about that, but I still think my SSI Stamp It segment, what I still believe, what I'm stamping still is that P2 and P3 are going to go through Brandon Hogue and Max Lindquist.
It's hard because I think, as much as Decker's is an outlier because of the people riding there, I think Etchikani is such an outlier because it's such a different terrain than almost everywhere else. We're not riding to Southway.
Trap. It is a death trap.
Yeah. I actually fell off the first national I was ever there in 06. I fell off the quad because I was so tired. In like the middle of the moto, I just fell off on the side of the track because I couldn't hold on anymore. It's awesome to look back now, but back then it wasn't. But I think that's going to be an outlier as well, because anybody that's really good in the sand is going to do really well there.
True. Yep.
I don't know what we're going to see when we go, what's the third Ironman, right?
Yeah.
I think it's going to be really telling. And I think that's really going to solidify where people are going to end up. But moving forward, Brandon, he has to be in podium contention every round to fulfill the standard that he has made for himself with the speed that he's got and being in there as long as he has. I agree. It has to go through Max and Brandon for one of them younger guys to go up there and try and take them spots away.
I texted Brandon and I just said, hey man, sorry for, the way that Saturday went and nobody wanted it to go that way. But I thought you rode awesome other than the hiccups, or before the hiccups, I should say. But you still got 16 more gate drops this season to show everybody what you're made of. He's got 16 more opportunities. I know he's hard on himself. That's why I wanted to make sure I was maybe having to build him up a little bit. But his riding was awesome. And I expect big things yet.
I'm going to say I don't know Brandon really well. From when I've ever talked to him, really nice guy, obviously very dedicated. He puts in the work. We obviously see the laps on the track. my concern, and if you go back to the last episode, I made a point to ask who's his mechanic. And just in my mind, I don't like to chalk things up to where people say luck all the time. For me, that being a bike builder, a motor builder, somebody that maintains and really builds a machine from the ground up myself, I feel like there's more to it. There's more than luck. And I wonder, since it always seems to be Brandon, I wonder if either he's overriding the bike or he's not in tune with the bike and like feeling or hearing things going on within the bike that he just still pushes it beyond its capabilities at certain times. Like, I don't know specifically, but it worries me. And I feel like, obviously I feel bad for Jeffrey, if he did make that statement about no DNFs, and we've seen Jeff, I don't recall too many times ever seeing Jeff sitting alongside the track, unless it was a race where, it was a torrential downpour, like a Pleasure Valley or something, that everybody was alongside the track.
Right.
So
yeah.
I feel that Jeffrey is solid in that, but I will say this, for me personally, I think that Echikani is going to tell the tale of what's going to happen. And I hate to put that much pressure on them in a single race, but for me personally, I feel like the work needs to be put in and figured out now, that since that's a sand track, figure it out, redeem yourself there, because moving into the rest of the season, obviously you're out there proving yourself time and time again. But for me, I feel like they need to bounce back really strong immediately, put all those, rumors or issues, squash them right off the rip and prove a point. Because I feel like if they don't, there's going to be a lot of questioning in people's minds, or even Brandon being able to trust the bike and move forward. And this is just me speaking out loud. It may not be true. It may not be where he's at, but I know for me, that would kind of be where I would be, feeling like this thing's got to hold together. I got to be able to go out and ride and do what I need to do. And if it doesn't, I'm going to be disappointed. So I don't want to put too much pressure, but for me, that's where I would be at, because we had 3 motos, and the first one, complete and utter fluke. I get it, but I don't know what happened the third one. I'd be interested to know. So I know that between Jeffrey and Dave Porter, I'm sure they're going to be working hard if those are the 2 guys going to be wrenching on it. And I hope so. But I hope they get it figured out. Like I never want to see that happen to anybody. I wish that DNSs weren't a part of the game, that nobody ever broke down. But unfortunately, that does happen. It just seems to always land on Brandon more, which that's a concern in my mind. As far as, the rest of the guys, I'm going to say that I'm putting more stock into Decker and Mason. I feel like those guys, at least in my mind, I hope they step up. I want them to throw their hat in the ring and be, that gatekeeper as well. I feel like any one of them could step up and be that person. So I'm hoping that they do. And they show that's a much deeper segment there, that 2 through 5 area than what everybody's kind of thinking it's going to be, because, maybe pros aren't going to show up, or maybe there's not going to be a big class. This is going to be great racing, and those guys are into it. So I can't wait to see, what comes next for them.
Yeah, so you're hitting on so much there. No. But I'm just saying you're hitting on so much that I think you could make a whole episode about everything that you just said. I think that, I do think that it's necessary for Brandon and the team to bounce back very quickly. Billy and I text conversation kind of had a similar conversation too. Like, was Brandon pushing the machine to the limit to stay with Joel, kind of thing? Like, would it have been smart to maybe just back it down just a touch? And again, I don't know that would have made any difference. I'm not sure. But I think that's a talking point. And then, going into these motos going forward, and I've been taking some time here to figure out what I want to do with the tiers, because there is a world where I think you could put the tier 2 and tier 3 riders all together. I think that you could put potentially Brandon and Max and Mason and Zach all together. And I hope that that's how that plays out. But I think until I see it one more time, I think that's why in my mind, I still think that, to me, Max Lindquist is an 11-time podium finisher. Brandon as a 16+ time podium finisher are still a touch ahead of those guys to me. Now, Zack could do it at Etchikani after doing it at Decker's. And then I think we really have an argument to make. And I think that we all know that Mason is going to be in that mix. And I think I expect it at Etchikani. But until I feel like there's just like it's not even, shouldn't be a full tier, but it's just like the grouping is in my mind still exactly like a half. Like in my mind, it's still like 1A and 1B are Max and Brandon are just a touch ahead. That being said, with the way Brandon works, he's going to be as motivated as ever at Etchikani and beyond. Brandon is going to be, I don't know how to say it, but might be the guy to watch at Ironman because we know how good he is on hard packed. I'm sure he's licking his chops for Ironman. I know Joel loves that track as well, but it's going to be really fun to watch. Brian, you're hitting the nail on the head. It doesn't matter how many riders are out there. I think when we talked about this, before we hit record, the class is going to get bigger. We know additions that are coming with the Kale deals, and there's other riders that are coming in the class, and we'll see Wesley at some races and stuff like that. He'll be a great name to add. You have Bryce Ford hinting on the internet. He's trying to make everybody talk about him coming back, right?
I heard Jadusa is going to hit a couple too.
Is that right? Okay. Well, I got him dormant in the game, but the click of a button, he's back in there. He's still in the game, just everybody can't see him, which doesn't surprise me. He he told us last year, and we know he's riding and he's got the track and the whole deal, but he told me last year, he's like, I'm not actually like retiring all the way. I'm just not going to race full time. So that doesn't surprise me 1%. So it's going to be really fun. It doesn't matter how many guys were out there. The racing was incredible at the first race. And I think that that's just going to be more of what we're going to see. And like I said, it's not like we don't have this whole thing figured out after one race. And I would assume after Etchikani, we're not going to have it all figured out either. There's going to be variants and going to be awesome battles. And I can't wait to see what else comes from these classes. So last thing I'll hit on, guys, because I can't thank you enough for being here and the whole deal. I can't thank you enough for this time, giving your time, talking about the races. I love these conversations so much. I can't wait to see what happens at Etchikani. I love it. But, my SSI Stamp It new segment this year, SSI Stamp It segment, I still think that, Lindquist and Hogue, P2, P3, that grouping. You guys got anything, Stamp It, things you want to throw out here before we get out of here?
We're gearing up for Etchikani again and talking about, Decker's being an outlier. Yeah. And we're going to go to Etchikani, which is, an
outlier, like Billy said.
Once again. So even the hot take that we come up with for Etchikani, for me, I'm already, like you said, looking forward to Ironman because now we flip the dynamic. So even if I feel like we get the follow-up results from Decker's at Etchikani, it doesn't mean they're not going to be flipped on their head come Ironman because now we're going hard pack. Now we're going possibility since we're there early in the season. What if we hit another rain patch where
it rains?
Some curveballs at that track. Or, aren't going to be able to jump some things or, there's so many different, factors that come into that. But I feel like that's our first regular or normal stuff.
Yeah.
So I feel like even if we nail Etchikani 100%, when we go to Ironman, that could all twist, turn, go awry.
I agree. 100%.
So I don't want to get too far ahead.
Same.
But that was one thing to say was even if we nail Etchikani, it's another sand track. So somebody can come out and totally curveball us, surprise us at Ironman that we might not see coming.
Another sand track, but I still think it's not everybody's practice track, which makes it a little more of a level playing field, at least in my mind. Again, like I remember Etchikani being early in the season. I remember wanting to go to Etchikani, but also dreading going to Etchikani. I remember finishing in the top 10, but getting lapped by Chad Wienen, even though I was in the top 10. Yes, Etchikani is its own deal. I think it's going to be fun to go to a different racetrack where we're going to see, is what we saw at Decker's going to be more? Are we going to see more of that? Or I think we are going to see some other guys step up too.
I'm going to say young guns. If you want a hot take for Etchikani, I'm going to say young guns. And when I say that, I mean guys like Mason, Joey Norris, Noah Arnold. Yeah. I think those guys, and Damien, I don't want to count him out. I know he's still hurt, but He was quiet. He flew under the radar, and he was right there. So, that's going to be an interesting segment to watch right there to see how those guys bounce back themselves. I know we've been talking a lot about Brandon and talking a lot about Max. We know Max is already kind of polished and dialed, which is great for him because now his consistency, if he works on his consistency and he's up closer towards the front, that's only going to benefit him as the year progresses. And he normally seems to find his pace. The only thing that's going to upset that is if one of these young kids is latching on right now and they're figuring things out, and then they decide to open it up and uncork something that we didn't see coming. And I don't feel like that's out of the realm of possibility because they've got the talent. So that's my hot take there. If you wanted something going into Etchikani,
stamp it. That's what Brian says. Stamp it. So as we transition into what Billy might have for us, I still think, and I'm having a hard time with this because the other thing is I was thinking about stamping it. I wanted to say that Mason was going to get his first podium at Etchikani, and I think he's going to be really good in those conditions. Again, he's just a dog. So like when things are tough, I feel like he steps up to the plate. All that being said, I look at Max really going to shine there. Max is really going to shine there. And Brandon is going to have to shine there. So given the circumstance. So in my mind, I'm like, man, I don't know if I can stamp that, but I do think that Mason is going to be a guy to watch as we transition to what Billy has to say to finish up our night here.
My stamp it is still one of the rookies will finish in the top 5. I don't know when, but I still think it's going to happen.
So this isn't this next race. You're just saying like
no.
Eventually.
Are we talking only Etchikani?
No. Doesn't matter.
Okay.
So you're saying rookie is going to finish in the top 5 at our race this year overall.
I feel like that's a given. And hey, Billy, I'll go one step further. How about this? I'll say if like Joey Norris cracks into that top, say like P3 or P4, I'll go further and say Noah will be right behind him. They could go 4, 5. Those two seem to tandem. So like if Joey cracks a 4th, I think Noah's going to be right behind him.
I think them PA and Ohio boys are going to be really fast come Ironman because, hard packs and we don't have sand.
And send it.
Yeah.
Harry and Lloyd always find each other.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Even if the conditions aren't ideal, Joey and Noah send stuff. Dave, I don't know what it is with them cats. They're kind of like Thomas Brown when in the mud. They send stuff that where they get the speed to even do it.
It's going to be awesome to see. So you guys got it all riding on this. It will be fun to see. And we got, like I said, we got more names coming to the class and it'll be even more competitive. But yeah, those guys, as they find their footing, they got a great spot. The rookies do, saying the rookies, and you can throw Joey in there as well as a sophomore pro. He was really good at the opener. They set really good baselines for their season and great jumping off points. And I think that we're going to see more of that going forward. But guys, I can't thank you enough for being here, helping me break down all the action. It's been really fun. It was a really fun opener, and I feel like we learned some stuff, but there's tons up for debate yet, and a lot of stuff that we need to learn yet, and all the things. So really excited to see what's going to happen next. But I can't thank you both enough for being here and talking about the racing. I love this stuff. Yeah, I just can't thank you guys enough for being here and doing it again with me.
No, man, thanks for having me. I enjoyed it. I think just as much or more than you did.
The bench racing's always fun. I mean, anytime you want to do this, whether we're just on a call or whether we're doing the podcast, I enjoy it. So, I get to get all the info that you guys have and the inside scoop, and then we get to hash it out and talk about it. So I enjoy all of it myself. I enjoyed being, in the company of you guys and getting to throw this content out there. Because like you said, then people come up and it's a conversation starter, and, those conversations expand and more comes from it and ideas. And that's what we want. Ultimately, we want to grow the sport. And like I said, we got to be progressive thinkers to do that. So this is all positive.
Yeah. You got to think outside the box. I agree with that.
All positive, dating back to the very beginning. That's what this has been all about, and that's what it's all about to this day. I'm really proud of the things that we do. I'm proud of these conversations, and again, I can't thank you guys enough for being a part of it, because without you guys, the conversation would not be the same. It'd be me rambling. So can't thank you guys enough for your time, your effort, and all the fun that you bring to the show here. So with that, we're going to turn our attention to Etchikani. I can't wait. Thanks to DID Racing Chain, Launderville Steel, and the rest of all of our partners here at Digging Deep. For Billy Cottage, Brian Jenkins, and I'm Cody Jansen. That is a wrap as we sign off on our Digging Deep Decker Training Facility Race Review show here on the Digging Deep ATVMX podcast. Thanks so much, guys. Have a good night, and looking forward to going racing and being able to do this again in a couple weeks.
Yeah, man. Sounds good.
For sure. Have a wonderful night, guys. Good talking to you.
Man. Night, guys.
Thank you guys so much. Have a good night. And just like that, the season opener is behind us, and it's on to Etchiconee and the storied sands of Macon, Georgia. Can't wait. Huge thanks to both Brian Jenkins and Billy Cottage for joining the show again as featured guests this week. Thanks to producer Dallas Jansen, my brother, for all his hard work. Thanks to my wife, Brooke, and thanks to AMA officials Joe Messina and Harv Whipple. And thanks to all of our donors. And thanks to all of our partners. CST Tires, go to shop.csttires.com today. Yamaha, thanks to Blue Crew. Thanks to SSI Decals, Valvoline, DID Racing Chain, Launderville Steel Enterprises and Concrete Supply, DP Brakes, and Ultimate Poly Products. UPP Racing. Use discount code DiggingDeep15 at uppracing.com. Support all the brands that support our show, and don't forget to use those codes to save. Find it all on our website, and be sure to click that Rocky Mountain ATVMC banner for all your gear and parts needs and to help us out. And most of all, thanks to you guys for listening. Shop our Digging Deep merch at shop.diggingdeepatvmx.com. Find all things Digging Deep ATV Fantasy related at atvfantasy.com, including it's not too late to still get in on the fun and sign up for a new season of Digging Deep ATV Fantasy. So much fun. Leave us a voicemail. We'll play it on the show, 920-569-3519. If you're looking for another easy way to help support us, visit our website and click the Patreon or Buy Me a Coffee buttons. This allows you to set up a one-time or monthly contribution to support our efforts. Follow the show on social media, Digging Deep ATVMX Podcast, and myself, Cody Jansen, for additional content, coverage, and more fun stuff as the new season of ATV Motocross is in full swing. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and more. Wherever you find podcasts, you will find the Digging Deep ATVMX Podcast. All episodes, additional podcast providers, sponsor links, and discount codes, show merchandise, fantasy info, and more can all be found on our website, diggingdeepatvmx.com, so check that out today. Be a friend, tell a friend, please download, subscribe, rate, review, and share. And with that, for Brian Jenkins, Billy Cottage, Brooke Jansen, Dallas Jansen, and I'm your host, Cody Jansen. Thanks for listening to and making us the most listened to podcast in ATV racing, with more than 297,000 downloads last month in 141 total countries. Until next time, thanks for joining us in Digging Deep with the Stars of ATV Motocross. Things are crashing and burning here at the Digging Deep podcast, much like the Titanic.
Those guys were hauling ass, for real.
I remember watching Doug Gus, I don't know who it was, Steel City, running the same times Friday afternoon as James Stewart was on Sunday back then. It was mental. I've never seen quads go that fast.
Quad leaders are freaking gnarly.